Well, I'll leave it to Steve, who's actually done it before, to talk about running for president. But I think it's a very good idea for America to at least have a chance to say this polarization, this division has gotten so bad, we want to see if we like the option of a center party. Now, that doesn't happen often. The last centrist new party to win was Abe Lincoln, running back then. But we've had third parties before. I think that it's dangerous because it could tip the balance of the Electoral College. But if somebody like Howard Schultz, who has a very good, smart, centrist appeal, if he doesn't catch on after the debates, he can drop out of the race and do no harm. On the other hand, if the people really rally behind it, I think it's a great idea.
Well, I don't know about the do no harm part, Steve. You've been here. You've entered Republican primaries. We're in a two-party system. What Howard's doing, do you think it's going to resonate?
That's going to be the really big question, because third parties, because of the system, don't succeed. The only third-party candidate who did succeed was Donald Trump, and he did that with a hostile takeover of the Republican Party. But the key thing is, as Walter indicated, what kind of appeal is he going to have after several months or a year or so on the campaign trail if he begins to get traction? We should have learned in the last few years the old rules don't work anymore. And for example, what he says about Medicare for all, you're not going to win a Democratic primary on that one. What he said about immigration, what he said about taxes, not bad stuff. So the key thing is, after a year and a half, he's got plenty of time to establish his credentials, whether he gets a real traction or not. And if he does, these things build their own momentum. The key thing is, will he have enough traction to get in the debates in the summer and fall of next year? Then he's got credibility.
Steve, clearly a billionaire is president at the moment. Looks like more billionaires will be running. Do you think it was correct of Mr. Schultz to think, as someone that wealthy and successful, it was impossible to get the Democratic nomination? Or do you think it's plausible, and do you think Mr. Bloomberg is considering doing exactly that?
Well, all the indications are that the former mayor of New York is considering it. I don't think the American people care, as they demonstrated with Donald Trump, what your net wealth is. They want to know, what are you bringing to the table? What views that are going to be breaking the kind of political deadlock that we have today? And so that's what people are looking for. What can you bring? Now, obviously, Schultz has demonstrated he can run a major organization, entrepreneurial, very creative. You think about coffee for a moment. It's the most common commodity around. Anyone can make it. Airlines still serve a version of it for free. Everyone sells it. Yet he's turned it into a high-margin business. You stand in line, say, venti latte, pay $20. It's an amazing business he's created.
Not quite 20, but well, we get the point.
Yeah.
Walter, it does bring up the question of whether this has any implications for Starbucks. Clearly, he's a self-made man with an incredible story to tell, and he's hired a lot of workers. On the other hand, he's inviting controversy. Look at this tweet from Neera Tanden, president and CEO of the Center for American Progress. She says vanity projects that help destroy democracy are disgusting. If he enters the race, I will start a Starbucks boycott because I'm not giving a penny that will end up in the election coffers of a guy who will help Trump win. Does Starbucks as a company need to be worried?
Well, I admire Neera Tanden a lot. I don't think that if Howard Schultz runs, he'll stay connected with Starbucks. He'll have to sever all his ties. We've seen Donald Trump keep his ties to his hotels. It's got a stench, an odious stench of sort of sleaziness and corruption to it. I am sure Howard Schultz is not going to do that. Steve Forbes' name stayed on that wonderful magazine that the family had. Trump's name has stayed on the towers, including overseas he's trying to build. I do not believe that Howard Schultz would get himself in a position, though, in which he's still making money out of Starbucks, nor do I think it destroys democracy. I mean, that's a wild charge to say somebody should try to disrupt a two-party system that at times has become dysfunctional. If Mayor Bloomberg gets into the race, runs as a Democrat, and he gets a nomination, that's great. That doesn't leave a lane for Howard Schultz to run. But if it's a very polarizing election, he should at least try it out. And if he's not going to succeed, if he's going to throw it into an electoral college deadlock, he can still get out at the end of the race, and people can choose between the two parties. If he catches on, he should keep going.